ditch your spin class that you're going to 7 days a week and figure out what the actual problem is. Spend more time diagnosing what the cause is to these symptoms that you don't like, and less time just putting in effort where it doesn't belong.
This is the Gold Medal Mindset, where we bring you all things winning in business, sport, and life. I'm Dr. Jason Richardson, pro BMX world champion and Pan Am Games gold medalist. Now I'm a professional speaker, author, and winning mindset coach. Thanks for joining in. Get ready to mine for gold as we challenge your perception to change your results. We're back, Gold Medal Mindset. This is Dr. Jason Richardson. I'm here. And you know what I'm going to say because I say it every show, and it's true every show. I'm super excited to have this guest, Mr. Glenn Dawson of Reset U. That's Reset, the letter U. This dude's going to be talking about hormone imbalances, muscle imbalances, resetting people's diabetic chain. I don't even know. I'm going like way above and beyond my pay grade right now with health and nutrition, but that's why I have this guy on the show. Glenn, what's up?
What's up, man? How's it going, Jason?
It's going good. So we were talking offline about your Vegas. You were in Vegas and now you're in Reno, and then you'll be going back to Vegas. So we kind of have something in common with the Vegas thing. I went to high school in Vegas, so we were just going over the old haunts and the old streets, but and we also talked about how we met. We met on Jennifer Quinn's show. We actually did the same show, her live stream, and you've been instrumental in her health success. And Jennifer Quinn's been a guest on this show. You work with Brian Kramer. He's been a guest on this show. You've been instrumental in his health success. So, dude, where do you want to begin? How about we just make Gold Medal Mindset your show right now?
That's a lot of pressure.
That's all right.
It's a lot of pressure.
You can handle it.
Yeah, I work with a lot of people that have put in a lot of effort in their fitness program or their nutrition program and not seen a lot of results. Mm-hmm. So it could be anyone from someone who has a ton of nagging chronic lower back pain and they can't get it fixed no matter who they see, whatever specialist they've gone to. We can fix those at Reset U, correct their muscular imbalances, correct the tracking of their joint, reduce the inflammation, and make them strong and powerful again. To somebody else who has, autoimmune disease, like Lyme's or like Hashimoto's, like Jenny Q had. Mm-hmm. So where we can, like with nutrition, reset those hormones that are out of whack and get them to drop body fat and keep it off.
Okay, so you mentioned Lyme disease. That's a big one. And then you mentioned what is the other one you mentioned? That one sounded kind of foreign to me.
Hashimoto's.
Hashimoto's. So what is that?
So it's an autoimmune disorder that has to do with the thyroid.
Okay.
And it's really, really hard for people to lose weight with it because of the thyroid functionality and how the thyroid controls your metabolism and how you can actually burn calories on a given day.
Okay. So when someone says something, because you always hear about that, something's wrong with their thyroid, chances are it's Hashimoto's.
Not chances are. There's a lot of different things that can happen to your
thyroid. Oh, wow,
but,
okay. All right. I'm looking for the answer right now. But the bottom line is Hashimoto's was one specific one that you helped Jennifer Quinn with, and she's killing it. I mean, every time I see her, she's like looking stronger and healthier and stronger and healthier. She's just like glowing every time I see her, so it's pretty cool. Well, that seems like a big undertaking. I mean, because there's a lot of people in the fitness, I'm not going to say in the fitness business, but in the fitness on the consumer end, right? Whether it's dieting or exercising, I don't like that word exercising. I prefer training. But you get the people who, air quote, I've tried everything. Nothing works. And you're telling me those are your clients, the nothing seems to work client. That's a big undertaking.
Yeah. I'm their last stop. I'm like their last stop, their last hope. I try to think of myself, Jason, as like I'm Batman, and because I've been gifted with this ability and been training my whole life for this, that it's my duty to make sure that these people get justice.
Okay. So do you have a utility belt?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Okay, all right.
10 years of experience, ton of certifications. I have a utility belt.
You have a utility belt. What are the certs you have?
We've got 2 different nutrition certifications, a NASM cert, a Pilates certification, which doesn't get used very often, but it was an awesome certificate, TRX certification, and then just a ton of schooling, man.
Nice. So I heard somewhere, actually, I shouldn't say somewhere, from a guest on this show before, and he likes to say leaders are learners. And that's the one quote that came to mind. It's like maybe you're in front of all of this because you constantly keep learning. Like when does it stop?
Never.
So
Never.
So
Never,
what's your final frontier? What brought you to this? I mean, I know you feel like it's your duty. I mean, did you go through something that was like, because you know, Batman parents died, Batman fell in the well, and then he had this fear of bats. See what I'm saying? So where's your story?
So I started off like yourself as an athlete. I got an injury, and it was an injury that could have been prevented, that I know now could have been prevented.
Oh, wow. What happened?
Like 90% of injuries. What's that?
What was the injury?
I cracked my 3rd rib.
Oh.
It's instrumental in the shoulder,
yeah.
So I couldn't do any kind of upper body workouts. I couldn't do any kind of lower body workouts because where it's located at, even if on a leg press, it's still going to be pressing against the pad. And on a squat, the barbell's on my back. There's nothing I could do for up to 6 months while I had to sit there and let it heal while, you know, I'm not getting looked at, while I'm not performing, which sucks. I kind of lost my identity at the time, and it all could have been prevented if someone would have had the correct program and correct plan for me to fix those muscular imbalances, to not train them to get even worse. I would never have to deal with that. So then I became a trainer and started working with people, and there were people that I couldn't help, right? And it drove me nuts that I couldn't help this person, because I truly believe that there's always help for someone. It's just they haven't found it yet. And I would get with a 70-year-old woman, and I wouldn't know how to train her because all I have is an athletic background. So what does that mean? You have to learn more, right? Yeah. And then you just keep learning more about these imbalances. How can you train this person? What are their physical limitations? What are you actually trying to fix? What are the variables that actually are causing these symptoms? Because a lot of times people treat symptoms and not causes. So fix those causes, and then just being tireless with your own work ethic to make sure that people actually get results, and not accepting the fact that as a trainer you can get paid for someone to not get results, which I think is unacceptable. Like, you can get paid as a trainer and collect a paycheck from someone if they just come and show up. You don't have to get results.
I've never even thought of it that way. Like, but you're right. I mean, in theory, you can kind of mail it in, right? Especially in some of the bigger gyms. Let's go back. So, what sport was it? Just out of curiosity. Football. So, because I raced bikes, I had realized that your body kind of morphs into whatever it is you do. It kind of becomes that thing. So if you're sitting in a chair, you kind of like create these patterns. And that's why I love talking to people like you, body people, nutrition people, health people, because to me, as a psychologist, I look at the neurological programming, and I use things like words and behaviors to shift patterns. So, and it's so linked up to the body. I mean, even when I do a private training or a seminar, I try to get people, you know, whether it's a day training or just an hour, to get in touch with something going on physically so that they can see what their limitations are, but not only that, but see how they can expand and go past those limitations.
That's awesome, though, dude. I find that extremely interesting. I was just reading a book, I think it's called Smarter, Better, Faster, and they're talking in that it's about productivity, and they're talking about how when you become a master, an expert at something, you create mental models of a given situation. So, like for myself, with like a mobility issue or a like hormonal issue, I've already created mental models of like what it's supposed to look like. So when I have this model of what it's supposed to look like, and then theirs doesn't look like that, it's very simple for me to go, okay, they have tight Achilles tendons, they're lacking external rotation in their knees, glute knees aren't turning on, they're going to have lower back pain on the right side, they're left hand dominant, like all that stuff I can see because I've done it so many times that I have like a mental model for that, like what it should see, and I can construct a program around it to get them to that perfect image of what I want them to be, right? I had no idea that there was someone that can do that for the inside the brain. So like the fact that you can do that is astonishing to me.
Well, I'm working on it. I have my mental model, right? And they have their mental model. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's great.
But it's interesting, right? So if you look at a baby and, you know, those primal patterns, like if you look at a baby and how they kind of squat down to pick stuff up and how when you see their rib cage expanding when they're breathing and all that stuff, all of it's perfect, right? I always say we actually are perfect. We build in these, we're perfect despite our imperfections. I'll put it that way. We're perfect despite our flaws. But as I was saying, you morph into whatever position you do and you build in these compensations. And especially if you're involved in a sport, because maybe a golfer's swinging one way, or, you know, for me, I used to start with my right foot. So clearly I had some weird gait issues and stuff like that with my back and my hip flexors and all this other stuff. But again, even if you're just sitting in a chair, right, you kind of morph into sitting in a chair dude or sitting in a chair chick. and you know, and so you spend no time literally in that opposite position. And then your muscles just kind of like are always compensating. And the reason why I say we're perfect is because so morphing into that position, what does that mean? That means your body is literally adapting to that, right? Not knowing any better, but your body's really just kind of like evolving into whatever stimulus you're putting in front of it or whatever environment you're putting in front of it. I think it's you'll like this one, the SEDS principle. Specific adaptation to impose demands, right? So so if you don't impose other demands, right, ones that are more healthy or ones that are more that are going to push you or make you grow mentally, physically, emotionally, how will you adapt?
Yeah, it's true. I love it.
So it's
funny you say that, because I'll be on a phone call with somebody and we do this like free assessment call at Reset You, and I'll be like, okay, what do you do for work? And they're like, well, I do like such and such, right? Or I sit down at a desk. I'm like, awesome. So do you ever have this? Like, I have all those problems. I'm like, how did you know? Well, you just shaped your body to that. Like when you sit in a chair, your glutes and hamstrings no longer turn on. They're not getting blood flow. You compromise your spine more times than not. And you tilt your pelvis forward if your feet are in front of the chair. So like, that's easy to see that there's going to be tighter spaces and muscles that don't turn on. And when you try to put that, like you said, you morph to that chair, then you're like, oh yeah, I want to go play basketball with my friends. That's not what you designed your body for.
No.
It's not ready for that. Those muscles aren't working for basketball anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a perfect analogy.
Yeah. So that's where our work kind of, I think, converges, right? So I've worked with chiros, I've worked with acupuncture people, I've worked with MDs, and what I've noticed is regardless of the discipline, if they're doing it right, they're all speaking the same language. And it's patterns, programming, fundamentals. Where do you begin with someone? So you said you do the consultation. Take me through like the worst case you've ever had. Because I want somebody listening to this, because I hear it too. I don't have time. I've tried everything. Nothing works for me, right? Because everyone likes to think their situation's so special that it can't work for them. Whatever they help. But I want to like do an excusectomy right now. So they've heard it from me, right? They've heard it from me. I want you to give your example of the worst person ever, and then all of a sudden it was like, bing.
Yeah. So
you don't have to name names.
No, I wouldn't do that. The worst person I ever had, they had a torn rotator cuff in the left shoulder. The right shoulder had a forward lean to it too as well, so that one was about to go. Had a ton of problems in that shoulder as well. Had a hip replacement, type 2 diabetes, and was like in their 60s, like
Okay.
60, like early 60s, and golfed. And their only goal was to get below 200 pounds because that was the weight at which the gentleman's wife was going to let him golf again.
So his goal was to golf again.
That's all he cared about.
Yeah.
But obviously, he started off at 250. We breezed right past 200.
Yeah.
Because when you have a nutrition plan set up for your hormones, it's very easy to fix a body fat problem or, you know, a type 2 diabetes, like having an insulin problem where it's just not working correctly. So that was simple. Fix that. The shoulder, both shoulders are completely stable now to the point where he can reach his hands over his head, has full range of motion, and strength in every single point of his shoulders. And then we did some opposite type of hip flexor / psoas / like core functionality workouts. And I like to tell people like core, like they think core is like just their abs. Like core is basically from your neck to your knees. So we were working like a ton of core exercises to basically rebalance out his body because of all the golf. He was so one-legged dominant. His pelvis was so twisted that we had to untwist it, like stretch out all those tight areas, reactivate those muscles that weren't activating, and then put it in a structure to where he has a more efficient golf swing. So yeah, the guy finished off with a clean bill of health, perfect cholesterol numbers, perfect triglycerides, off all of his meds, at 185, and he's 5'11".
Whoa. He went from 250 to 185.
Yeah.
Not to make it about weight, but that's a pretty
No,
good.
that's a regular thing though for us. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Like weight's the easy one. And then playing golf 3 days a week. And golf, which I know like your sport's a lot more like contact, mine's a lot more contact, but if you think about doing the exact same thing over and over again,
it can't be good for the body.
Your body.
Yeah.
And they generate so much torque on there. It's a no-brainer why Tiger Woods is injured all the time. Mm-hmm. Like if it never gets fixed, it's just gonna get worse.
Mm-hmm. All right, I want to harp on this dude. So 60 years old. So, because a lot of people will think that you're clearly battling time, you're battling gravity, you're battling energy levels, testosterone, like it's just. So how long was that process?
That was less than a year.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it's 10 or 11 months.
That's
but I
not
know
bad.
It was less than a year because we like talked about how it was less than a year. And he also wasn't very motivated by weight. That's the other thing is like when you actually lose weight with your hormones and your nutrition is set up specifically to you, you don't have to put in effort. You don't have to be at the gym 6 days a week. In fact, if you think that you need to do cardio to lose weight or you need to work out to lose weight, then there's something wrong with your plan. Right? Like our body should naturally just drop body fat if you're eating clean. If you don't have an energy excess, there's something wrong. So like ditch your spin class that you're going to 7 days a week and figure out what the actual problem is. Spend more time diagnosing what the cause is to these symptoms that you don't like and less time just putting in effort where it doesn't belong.
Wow. So I used to do we had a contract with a hospital and we used to do retirement, all around mindset, of course, but retirement and weight loss. So, and the interesting thing was weight loss, and we were really we were kind of candidly stretched, and the reason I have a bit of nutrition and health just because I trained for so long, but not formally trained. So I'm just going off of my experience and what I learned along the way, and how to kind of prolong my career. But I used to talk, and I still do talk about this set point, and I think that everyone has a set point, like literally like a thermometer. And if things are going well, then and when I say things are going well, things are working like within you, like your body's aligned, your spirit, emotionally, psychologically, physically, then you reaching or maintaining that set point really isn't, that's the work is, there's not much work to be done there. You kind of naturally will find your set point, provided there's a clear one, right? So it seems like, because I've personally done a lot of experimenting with like training, eating, all of this stuff, right? But I know one thing's for certain, like I do not have a dad bod, which I think is just a lame excuse. Dad bod, I'm married and at a certain age, so like it's okay. No, it's not okay. But I don't have a dad bod because of the set point. So in my mind, I pretty much see myself literally as in a very specific way. And so no matter what happens, I always kind of find whether it's weight or strength or activity level, like I'm always within this certain range of performance or weight. And now here you are talking about like hormone levels and if you're doing cardio, and I feel like you're talking about this set point to a certain degree, just calling it something else.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Jonathan Baylor is one of the guys that like went over the set point a ton in his like sane eating approach. But like, just to give him a little bit of credit, but like
no,
the biggest
please.
thing is,
here I am thinking I made something up and it's already out there.
No, dude, the set point's like a real thing. Like there's tons of info on it, but basically, think back to like when we were hunter gatherers, right?
Yep.
It would be dangerous for us to lose weight.
Correct.
We don't have an abundant food source. And if we're running a lot or we're like super active as hunter gatherers, then we can't lose weight because it's unhealthy. The healthiest people back when we were hunter gatherers were the ones that had more muscle and had a little bit more extra body fat. Mm-hmm. A little bit more. Not a lot, right? Because then you're trashing your estrogen levels, you're creating more like prone to diseases. I'm talking about like the one that's like not 5% body fat, but like 10.
Right.
Like the healthier one.
Mm-hmm.
Because we both know 5% body fat isn't healthy. Like 10% is like you're.
Well, 5% you're just dehydrated, right?
Yeah. So hunter gatherers, they were supposed to be the same weight. In our body, we evolved with that set point that will literally lower your metabolism and slow down your thyroid production and your leptin levels as you add in cardio or as you lower your calories, right? So if you lower your calories, there's a direct correlation with how slow your metabolism goes. So if you cut out 300 calories, give it about 2 weeks, your metabolism, your metabolic rate will slow down by 300. It's equal. So the other thing that happens, if say we killed a woolly mammoth or like a huge animal and we had an abundance of food, mm-hmm. and you're chewing down this food, well, your body doesn't want you to get overly fat either, so it jacks up your metabolism mm-hmm. to bring you back to the set point. So the set point is this awesome weight at which your body is supposed to be at for you to perform at your highest level. Now, get to the like 1900s, the 2000s, when we introduced processed food, sugar, hormone injected beef, being
carried to work versus walking or riding there.
Yeah, all that stuff, dude. All that stuff that we introduce, like all the food, like just gluten, everything that's going to trash your hormones, right? Mm-hmm. We introduce that, and then it starts to raise our set point because it's trashing those hormonal regulators that would speed up to keep us at a lower weight. The other thing we're doing is we're eating 6 to 8 times a week because we're telling people that you should eat that often, and we never get enough growth hormone to offset the cortisol because we're not fasting, because we're not like recycling our body, because we're not doing any of that stuff. We're eating an abundant food source all the time, 24/7, destroying our hormonal regulators, so your weight can go up. But then when you try to lose it, your body still slows down your metabolism and it wants you to go back to that set point. So that's the problem. That's like the biggest reason why the U.S. over 66.6% of the population is overweight and 80% of the population is insulin resistant. It's insane because of those factors.
Wow. So check it out. So my kids, and it's bad training on my part, right? Because I grew up in the you eat what's on your plate, you have a good breakfast. But in theory, like they wake up and they're like, I'm not hungry. And it used to be a battle. And now I'm just like, okay. Like I backed off. I backed off because I'm like, okay, let me actually look at this, because they eat, because who doesn't eat when they're not hungry, right? Like if you're hungry, you'll eat. And what I noticed is they will eat. And generally speaking, they'll eat better foods because they're hungrier, right? If they're hungry. But my point is, like, they kind of naturally have that set point or whatever that is, that kind of telling them, yes, I'm hungry. No, I'm not. Like they have these, they're like more, they can't articulate it. And I sound like crap right now trying to articulate it, but they can't articulate it, but they're kind of like living that set point where, like my son will wake up and he'll just kick it for a while. And then maybe 2 hours later, he's like, okay, I'm hungry. And then he does this thing where they both do it, where no matter what they're eating, right? So it could be like super burger, whatever, or just a basic, like, healthy meal, whatever you want to call it. They'll stop, like, with 3 bites left. And my wife's like, how do you guys do that? Like, there's like, I don't want any more. No matter how good it is, no matter how savory it is, no matter how sweet, it's the craziest thing. Like, I've seen, but they're not the only ones. I've seen other kids do this, and it's like, what is that about? Because I'm like I get to the point now where I don't even necessarily order that much at a restaurant, because I know, like, they'll probably hit a point, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get to have some of their food. Like, it'll be fine. But anyway, it's just an observation on set point.
No, it's funny because, so the funny, I know you've heard it where people are like, oh, I'm just too old for this, right? And you're an in-shape dude who's over 30, looks amazing. So, like, you probably just think, like, in your head, like, oh, yeah, here we go again. Another person with the whole, like, I'm too old for this, or I'm gaining weight because of my age.
Yes.
Or it's harder because of my age. But the thing is it's not your age that's making you gain weight. It's more years of compounding hormonal damage. So, like, your kids haven't had that yet.
Right.
They haven't been destroyed yet from the inside out. So, like, they're still regulated the way you're supposed to do it.
You hear that, America? You're being destroyed from the inside out.
Unless you, like, buy grass-fed beef and eat, like, grass-fed dairy, and, like, you eat fish and you have, like, a proper diet and you stay away from, I guess, processed vegetables or vegetables that are altered, then it's really difficult, and it's not cheap either, man. That's the other thing. It's
that's
difficult
the sad
for
part
kids
for
stuff
me.
they can process.
Yeah, that's the sad part. Is it really is? I mean, it's gotten better, but to make the right choices, unfortunately, it's become, from a monetary standpoint, expensive. But
yeah,
I love spending money on food. Like, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I love it.
Me too.
I love it. Because it's one of the few things that I want and need at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times you spend money on something you need, you're kind of like, eh. But food is both. But I always say, it's hard to pay now. It hurts to pay later. Right? So it might cost you more for the better ingredient. But, and just as a little tip, my buddy Anthony Freeman, you can follow him on his Facebook is B Freeology, but he gives a lot of tips on, like, how to eat well and shop well, and he goes to those, like, little bodega type farmers markets and stuff like that to get really good fresh food. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, you might save on food now, but if you're popping pills at 35 or whatever, and you have, all these prescriptions, and then the doctor's visits, and the co-pays, and the years off your life, and the I can't play with my son because my knee's jacked, I mean, that's paying later, isn't it? I mean, doesn't that hurt?
Yeah, man, you're investing in something.
Yeah.
You're always investing in something. And I think it's tough, dude, to delay gratification for a lot of people for that. And that's why I think it's so important, as fitness professionals, or as any kind of expert, is to get somebody automatic results. Like, get them to see automatic results then and there. And that way they buy in as quickly as possible. So if you can make somebody lose 6 pounds in a week just from eating right and they don't have to do cardio and everything like that, they're sold. They don't have to, they've tried their whole life to do it. If you can make somebody have a mental breakthrough in a week, they're sold. They don't need anything else. Like, they're sold. And it's our duty to give that to them, to give them that quick of a result. That way they're motivated. Because there's so many times where people, they'll go through life, right? And they'll try things and not get results for it. Or they'll try things and not see the value in it because of the fact that they think that you're either seeking pain or pleasure, right? They think that the pain that's going to be endured to have like a healthy body isn't as bad as the pain of a bad knee 20 years from now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't really care. So if you can show them that it's not that much pain, man, it's really not. You just have to have something specific to you. And you can dial it in because you're an expert. They get quick results without a lot of effort. It's almost like going to work and getting a raise for the same amount of effort. You know? People are more motivated when they get a raise. But on the other hand, and I see this all the time, they'll go to the gym and they'll buy a membership and they'll cancel their membership 6 weeks later. And people are like, oh yeah, like, they weren't motivated and they're just lazy. And it drives me insane, Jason, because that person was motivated when they signed up. But then when they didn't get paid for a month's worth of work, obviously you're going to leave your job. Right?
Right.
No one wants to stick with the job.
No one wants to be right. You want to be appreciated for the effort you put in.
Yeah, dude, you have to. You have to see results. Otherwise, there's no reason to keep doing it. Like, even in business, like for right now, if we're running an ad on Facebook and it's not working, what do we do? Do we double down and add more money to it? Or do we just cut it and say, all right, well, back to the drawing board, let's try something different? Like, there's no reason to keep that ad going.
Yeah.
There is.
Well,
and that would be like calling us lazy. Calling us lazy for cutting a bad ad. Like, that's not, how does that even make sense?
Right. So I'll push back a bit. And say, all right, well, what about, because there's people who do, because I've seen it both sides. I've seen it to where they do something and not getting the result. But at what point do you expect a result? And I guess it depends on your KPIs, right? Your metrics. What are you actually measuring? Is it weight? Is it cholesterol? Is it money in the bank? Whatever it is you're measuring. But at what point? Because sometimes it's just a matter of consistency. Sometimes I feel like people pull out too early anyway, regardless of program. But if I guess you're working with people who had like years and years of non-success.
I got you.
All right.
I'll answer your first question.
Go.
So if they pull out too soon, then either one of two things has happened. One, as the professional, you didn't lay out the proper KPIs to keep them motivated, to let them know what their results are. Or two, they've already reached their goal. They just don't know it. And it's okay. Like, you cannot force somebody. So a healthy body fat percentage for a female in her 30s is 26% body fat or below. But what if they don't care about that? What if they only want to have like a flat stomach and look sexy for their boyfriend? And that's around 30% body fat. And they know that at 30% body fat, they can trash their diet about 3 times a week, get away with it, and still stay at 30% body fat. At that point in time, my job as a trainer is done.
Right.
Because they're satisfied. Like, I did my job, and that's where we cut ties. I go off into the woods like I'm Bagger Vance.
Right.
And they go and they do their own thing because they don't need me anymore because they're 100% completely satisfied. Are they healthy? No. No, but like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not there to sell them on health and change their goal, right? Their goal was to get to a certain body fat percentage. We found out it's 30. They're happy. That's all you can get. That's all you can do.
Yeah. It's kind of like I do a little thing on like talking people into winning. And I'll never forget this. We did a mindset thing at the training center with a bunch of coaches. They were doing their certification. And I said, hey, your athlete might not be there to win. And the coaches looked at me like, what? we're in the training center, like Olympic rings, like there's this flags, like it's this big pomp and circumstance. I was like, yeah, like check it out. I know it seems weird. And they're like, well, what? Why else are they there? I was like, well, maybe they got into it because it was fun, or maybe it keeps them off the streets, or maybe they're ADHD and it's like the only thing they can do to like keep their brain at rest, like, or maybe they just like the camaraderie of like traveling and hanging out and living the life. Like, I don't know. I said, but if you can have the conversation with that athlete about why they are there, like what's their win, and support them in that, they might actually end up winning. Like all of it.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because, and this is going to sound really bad.
It's all right.
But I'm going to say it anyways.
Say it.
My motivation was always to like manhandle another person. And that's what I like to do. That's what got me off. If we win, I'm much more happy than if we lose. I'm a team player, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But if there's an opportunity for me to make someone else look bad because I physically overpower them, then that for me was like my motivation in every single sport. Martial arts, boxing, football, everything. Whatever it was, if I got an opportunity to like emasculate somebody, that was where I got my kicks. And it wasn't winning. It wasn't like, oh, do you get to win? Now, if it's an individualized sport, yeah, obviously I get to win. But if we're playing basketball and I score like 30 points and the guy doesn't score a single point against me, but we lose, there's a lot of people that are going to be really frustrated. And I'll be frustrated that we lose. But I would be even more frustrated if we won and I got emasculated. Like if I didn't score any points and the guy against me scored 30 and we won, I'd still feel horrible.
Okay, so you're talking to a clinical psychologist about this stuff, so I got to go. Where's that coming from?
I don't know.
All right, that's another show. That's another show.
I'm just being honest.
No, I appreciate that, but the truth, that was your win, right? That was your win. That was a motivating factor for you.
Yeah,
that's fair. And so you
just because I had an older brother.
And he played you out any chance he could.
Anytime.
Yep. But that made you scrappier, probably.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. I'm grateful for the entire journey, all the bad stuff, because without it, any of the hard work, any of the stuff that was painful, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
So, where are we at? How are things going? It seems like you are rocking. Like you have Reset You. You're doing train with Glenn. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So what's all your hustles, man?
So just like a little background on my journey, myself and my business partner, we had the same kind of like entrepreneur journey where they like people, you just get treated like crap to where you're down in tears about your corporate job, and like the ethics don't match, so you just feel horrible inside. I cannot describe it other than like my stomach was in knots, and physically in tears, numerous times.
What was your corporate job? Was it in fitness, nutrition?
Yeah, it was in fitness and nutrition.
Okay.
It was the exact same thing I'm already doing. It's just it didn't mesh, and I don't want to get into like details or badmouth anybody.
Yeah. It was not your jam.
No, not at all. Like to one night before rodeo in Reno. My business partner and I were drinking. We're like, "You're too good for this." He's like, "Dude, you're too good for this." And like, we're like, "Hey, like you're the smartest guy I know. You're the smartest guy I know." So after the rodeo, and partying and stuff and drinking and having a great time, the next morning we woke up and we were still like avidly angry about this situation. So we sat down in a coffee shop. We wrote down what we're best at, what we love to do, and how we can help people the most. Mm-hmm. And that's what we created with Reset You. Training with Glenn is like my own personal thing, and he has training with Brandon, where we work with one-on-one clients. But Reset You is our baby, and it's like I put so much effort into it, dude. I don't have a day where I don't work. I literally have to like tell myself like, hey, you're not allowed to work today, and I still sneak in like emails and like work or like learning stuff about my business because I love it, man. I'd much rather do this than play Madden, or I'd much rather do this than go out and party or do anything. Like, there's nothing better than having someone have a transformation, like where they change their life. And I was instrumental in that. There's nothing that makes you feel more good. There's nothing that makes you jump out of bed more in the morning than that feeling. I love it.
So it's kind of like you've reframed this manhandling for the forces of good. So it's not about emasculating someone. It's really about empowering other people.
Yeah. So I'm basically like Batman.
All right.
Empower
what is
everybody else.
Your deal with Batman?
Dude, I'm not the hero. What is the line from the movie? I'm not the hero they want. I'm the hero they deserve.
Got it. All right. So you identify with Batman. I'm more of a Green Lantern type. But
Which one?
well, that's right. That's why. Because I like Green Lantern because they're chosen.
I like Green Lantern too.
But as a Green Lantern, the ring comes to you. So whether it's Hal or the Black Guy or whomever, like I identify with that because, and there's no cape, so I feel like the cape would really get in my way. But yeah, I feel like the ring comes to you. You're chosen, and then it's a calling, and it's your duty to live up to the expectations of the ring, and then there's a huge responsibility to the power you yield, right? And then there's this creativity that's involved, right? So you have this ring that can do amazing things, but it's limited by your creativity, right? And so it's up to you to get out of that situation.
Dude, I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. My favorite Green Lantern's Kyle Rayner.
All right.
Because he's the only one that was an artist and the creative guy. All the rest of them were military background guys.
Yeah.
They finally gave the ring to
Green Lantern Corps, right?
Yeah, they just finally gave the guy that was creative the ring. Give that guy the ring.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, anyways, but that's the deal, right? So you're Batman. Good. So you're the Batman of fitness. You're the fitness expert Batman. So what are you working on? What's any other than reason? Not that you're not working on enough, but what any projects coming up or what's going on?
With Reset You, we're just consistently putting out content, man. The more content the more we can put out and the more we can give. Doing community workshops. I did volunteer work with a local high school team, did all their assessments.
Oh, cool.
Balance assessments, everything. Like I said, if someone came to me, before I got my injury and fixed that, my whole life is different,
Right.
And if I could change that for someone else, awesome. And if you've been given this gift, you got to give out. You got to give it out to other people. So doing nutrition seminars, doing those imbalance assessments, giving that out, doing content. My business partner and I put out 10 videos a week.
Oh, wow.
On Facebook and pivoting to YouTube as well, and growing that following, and then just growing Reset You as a brand. I want to be as big as Beachbody, but have a higher success rate. So just really change the way people see fitness and bring individualized, specialized programs to everyone.
Right. So you kind of sparked something in my brain when you said the way people see fitness. Does it hurt you when fitness is equated to a specific body type? You know what I mean? And when I say hurt you, I mean not your feelings, but maybe your feelings. I don't know. But, because everyone thinks, like you said, core. Most people think of abs when they think of core. You said it's from your neck to your knees. So when the way people see fitness, they look at a person who's not overweight and they're like, oh, he's healthier. Or they look at somebody who does have the 4% body fat and it's like, oh my gosh, they're the epitome of, fill in the blank.
I don't get frustrated by that.
I guess what are the myths? What are the things that are just get under your skin where you want to change the mindset of people or want them to understand?
what frustrates me isn't like when people say like that person's fit, or like if someone has a certain goal to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's not really my goal. Or someone doesn't want to be functional, like that's fine. Like that's not. I want to be functional. I want to feel good. That those are Glenn's goals. I don't really care what your goals are. I'm there to help you get to them. I'm like, I'm the mentor. Like I'll get you on that part of the hero's journey. Like you get to your own goal. I don't pick your goal. But what messes with me the most is when people get bad advice that doesn't get them to their goal. And I don't really care how it's received. And like one of the worst things that I would say that I don't like is when you see someone that's super fit, right? And they just take their word as a gift from God. I'll just do exactly what they do for their workout, right? Especially if the person is taking exogenous testosterone or something that like a normal person doesn't have access to. And their workout, because of this exogenous testosterone, they can take in more repetitions. They can do more damage to muscle. They can grow more muscle. And a normal person doesn't know all those things. They don't have those factors. So like that workout does not make sense. Just overtraining and just like overtraining basically. All that stuff that goes into it, like I don't really care how you get to it, but like if someone gets bad information and they put in effort and they don't get results from it, it drives me nuts. Like it physically makes me angry, like more angry than a car getting cut off, like a car cutting me off in a road. I can't even put together a sentence right now.
It's like bad fitness information rage.
Yeah, like just for an example, and I've never badmouthed another trainer, but this specific trainer was telling someone to do like squats on the balls of their feet with their heels off the ground, which changes your angle of your knee, puts more tension on the front of your knee, and changes the angle of your hips, and makes you just use like 90% quads and no glutes and hamstrings, because you have to push your heel to activate those muscles. So they're teaching this person bad patterns, and like practice does not make perfect. Practice creates habits. So they're ingraining these bad habits that are going to trash this person later in life. And I have to sit there with all this knowledge and just watch it.
Yeah.
And watch it happen. There's nothing I can do because I can't go badmouth this trainer right in front of his client.
Right.
I can't stop it. So I have to wait until the client leaves. They've been through their entire workout of bad programming to go ask the trainer if there's something I could teach him that would help him get better results. Or somebody I could sell this guy on listening to me so I can fix his like mishap, right? There's nothing more infuriating than seeing it happen. Or another trainer where I saw the guy literally, his client was complaining about back pain when he was doing sit-ups. So he made him lay on a foam roller, which is just changing the angle of your vertebrae and making the back pain worse. Because it's so inflamed, like any kind of tissue damage or tissue relief you're getting from the foam roller doesn't really matter at that point. You're just putting the back into extension. You're not doing anything to help. And the guy still complained about back pain. The guy didn't have any answers for him. That stuff right there, like, Jason, it drives me to the wall. Can't handle it.
I can see you almost climbing up. So you are like Batman. You are out for fitness justice in the world. You are a fighter for fitness justice.
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. And I can tell you, having been injured and had back issues and all that stuff and compensations, blah, 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 I can tell you that going through my progressions in training as an athlete, that there is a piece of you that thinks that it might be worth it to do it this way anyway because it works. Or at least that's kind of like where you start going with it, right? Like there might, because you might know there's a better way from a pattern or fundamental standpoint, but that means you're not squatting 2.5 times your body weight. That might mean you're squatting, 2 times your body weight, right? And for me to put it in bike racing terms, am I going to be laying down the power like I expect to be right? Because all these, this is where I go, like the mindset stuff, like belief systems, right? Am I going to be laying down the power if I'm not squatting 2.5 my body weight? Am I going to be getting the the lap times or the sprint times? Am I going to be dropping people on my second pedal if I'm not, doing this squat the way I've done it the whole time? Or whatever it might be, or my sprints or whatever, even though my form might be just a little less.
Yeah, so, dude, you should take a small digression, and then you should be able to squat 3 times your body weight, right? Like, if you're doing what you're supposed to do correctly, you're literally taking away any kind of resistance in the squat, right? Mm-hmm. So you're taking away any kind of, like, dysfunctionality, and then you're accessing more muscle fiber during that squat in a cleaner range of motion. So you're like taking away rubber band and your new muscles that weren't firing properly. So the question isn't like, am I going to be going down from 2.5 times my body weight to 2? It's, am I going back down from 2.5 to 2 so I can get back up to 3?
Right.
Because if you're truly maximizing your structure, then you should get past any kind of gains that you had as an unbalanced individual.
Right. Well, then it goes from being like a quad dominant exercise to quad and glute, and like I'm recruiting more muscles to actually do that squat eventually.
Exactly. Yeah. So you take a small step back to progress even further.
Right. Boy, that's hard. That's a hard one though. That's a hard one. I'm being real. Like I remember being the athlete like, but right now, just kind of like giving up that, not the control, but just giving up what you think is progression, what you think is a gain, and especially when you're competing at a high level. So, and I was actually a person who was good about nutrition and health. I was kind of, head tripping about that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. And, cause it's so easy to look for the hack. I mean, geez, like how much clickbait do we see? 3 mind hacks for more productivity. 3 nutrition hacks for blah, blah, blah. All these hacks, right? But do we want to hack our way through life? Really? Like in comedy or anything, a hack is somebody who kind of lacks the fundamentals.
Yeah.
That's the irony of it.
Yeah. It's true, man. It's true.
I don't know.
I feel like anything though in life, you've got to have that like breakdown to build yourself back up type of thing. Yeah. You have to have that like humbling experience to grow. Mm-hmm. I know I went through a lot when I started my own business. I think that's why I'm so giving, is because I've gotten so much. It's like to where like I'm gonna burst if I don't give out at an exponential rate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because there's so many people that took pity on me and said like, you know what, dude, like I'll help you out with this. I'll help you out with this. This is a horrible, horrible thing that you're doing here. Let me fix this for you. Yeah. This is horrible. Like, let me fix this. They gave me their time for no reason at all.
No, there was a reason. There was a reason.
I mean, but all I had to do was just implement what they asked. Right. So, like, if I can give that back to others, or those people, specifically those people, like, I'm going to feel amazing about it. But, like, yeah, like, none of that would happen without that humbling, like, break you down to, like, where you question if this is what you should be doing type of phase. Because I know every single one of my clients goes through it, and I tell them, hey, you got to foam roll and stretch twice a day. And they're like, oh, do I really have to? And I'm like, yes. There's no option around it. And I know it's painful for them. But for us to truly fix this structure, it's what you need to do. I've got to reduce the sympathetic nervous system so I can actually lengthen tissue. You have to foam roll and you have to stretch. There's no way around it. And then they do it, and they get crazy results, but they have to go through that, like, humbling experience where they're, like, on a foam roller in a gym for the first time, rolling around on a foam roller with their butt in the air and everyone watching them. They think everyone's watching them. No one's watching them. But
nobody cares but you.
Yeah, no one's ever watching you in the gym. But you have to go through that humbling experience to have that, like, breakthrough, right? Like, even in business, I'm sure you've had a terribly humbling experience in business where, like, right after that was your biggest breakthrough.
And it keeps happening. It's like sometimes you think you're there and you don't even realize it, but That's just like a layover. You're just in Denver for a couple hours, and there's still there's still that overseas flight to get on.
Yeah.
So that's the journey. I guess that's the work, right?
Yeah.
That's the work.
I mean, if a hack was really that good, and it didn't take like a little bit of effort on your end, or a little bit of like changing, or like seeking out somebody that could give you a better plan, if it didn't take any of that stuff, like, would you really want to do it? You know?
Yeah.
Like in business, if it was that easy to do, like, would you really want to do it? That means like the barriers of entry are super low too. So everybody, you have all this competition, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know the harder it is for me to get to a goal, that there's not going to be a lot of people that do it, you know?
Yeah. I wonder though. It is interesting though, because people talk about like achieving big things and doing big things. And I write about it and I speak about it with a lot of athletes, especially when they're trying to level up. That's a favorite of mine. But it's funny as you go along the way, and I'm very honest about this. Like I was good and I went all the way in my sport, but I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that it was just the simple fact that I stuck with it and stayed in that got me there. Because there's plenty of people better than me along the way, and I would say that with a lot of athletes or a lot of high achievers. Like, there's plenty of people who might have had a better idea, they might have been smarter, they might have been more talented, they might have been whatever, but for whatever reason they fell off. Right? Maybe someone got their driver's license. Somebody was interested in dating instead of going to the gym. Somebody was, whatever. Like, I didn't have enough time. I started school, whatever. Or, I had to go take care of my grandma. I don't know. Like, no judgment there. But the bottom line is, like, if you stick with it, and the higher you go, literally the less people there are that are in your way. Like, that's just the math of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the math of it, right? Like, if you think about, the Olympics are going on right now, right? Now that you are there, it is probably much easier for you to get a medal than before you made your Olympic team.
That's an awesome quote that you need to have an image with your face in that quote, like, because it's true.
It's real. It's real. Like, the way I put it to my athletes is like, they are literally giving medals away. I'm not saying you don't earn it, but they are giving them away, right? So you get to the show, they will actually give you one. They will give you one, provided you get to the final and get top 3. They will give you a medal, right? So just changing that kind of person, like, whoa, right? And think about it, like at the Olympics or at many, or even in NBA or whatever it is, once you start getting to playoffs, quarterfinals, semifinals, whatever it is, there's less teams. They might be better, but there's less. You don't have to.
Your chances are still better.
Yeah, you don't have to go through the whole league now.
Mm-mm.
Right? It's just one team.
Have you read the book Grit?
No.
Oh my God. So it's you would love it, dude, with the psychology background, but like you gotta
I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, it's a really good book, but yeah, it goes into that on how like success isn't just talent, and in fact, like, talent can slow you down on your track to success, because it's more work ethic and then like time and like failure, basically.
Yep.
Like, those things like all go into it to give you like a grit score of like how successful you'll be at a certain thing. Yeah. Which is basically what you just said.
Yeah. Well, dude, I get on stage and I do a talk. It's like, so check it out. Most people would agree that failure's bad. Raise their hand. Would you agree that a lot of people are scared of failure? Raise your hand. Yes. I pretty much guarantee you that I've failed more than anyone in this room. And I'm a world champion athlete. Like, right? That's the math of it. I had to. Like, There's just no other way around it.
Yeah.
Because anyone in my sport who's failed less probably didn't go as far.
Definitely. They didn't have as much years.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
it's just math.
It's right. It's just math. I used to not be good at math, but damn, I figured it out when I got into business for myself. That's for sure. Anyways, hey, dude, we got to have you back on. Definitely meet face to face, and I'm thinking of collaboration here pretty soon.
Awesome.
How can people find you, connect with you, hire you, bring you in, get themselves balanced in the real way?
So if you are a person that's going to put in effort, we love to give you a free call on this 3-point blueprint diagnostic. We go over basically your nutrition, your resistance training program, and your recovery program specific to your goal. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. At the end of the call, we do give you the opportunity to see if you're a good fit for one of our programs, if you are a good fit. But the biggest thing is that we just have to give everyone that we come in contact with a plan. That's why we do the call, is because we can reach more people that way and give more people plans. I'll get you a link for the show notes.
Perfect.
The best way to reach us is on Facebook. That's where we're the biggest at Reset You Fitness, our Facebook page, or our website, which is going to be redone at the end of the week at resetyoufitness.com.
All right. Well, by the time this show airs, which will be probably next Tuesday, the website will be done. No. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, there you go. There you go. Glenn Dawson, truly living a championship life. I would also like to have all the listeners save the date, because I'm having an event in Carlsbad, championship life, and there will be a very specific learning day, and the next day will be a very specific application day. Definitely going to push your limits and stretch the mindset so that you can win in business, sport, and life.
Before we go, Jason, I just want to say thank you for everything. And then if anyone's listening and you got value from this, make sure that you leave a rating on iTunes. Give Jason some stars.
Oh, thanks, man.
That way people can understand, and that way people can see this episode more often. That's the only thing that we ask in return. And I know, I really value your work, Jason, so I appreciate everything that you're doing. And if you guys got value from it, that's the least you could do to show them thank you.
Oh, that was cool. I'm giving them virtual high five right now on Skype. Yeah, do that. I always forget to ask for reviews on iTunes and stuff like that, but it is helpful, and more people need to know about the champions that come on this show. Well, there you go. So, takes one to know one. Glenn, it's definitely been a pleasure, and we'll see you soon, and thank you for listening in. Gold Medal Mindset. Peace. Thanks for taking the time to mine for gold on the Gold Medal Mindset podcast. Let's keep the conversation going at drjasonrichardson.com. That's drjasonrichardson.com. Take care and have a great day.